Welcome to the Cookbook, where we invite guests on to share the ingredients of what has helped make them the successes that they are. All of it, the good, the not so good. You're not going to find anything half-baked here. And our kitchen gets messy sometimes. That's when the fun starts. So come on and join us. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Cookbook. I'm your host, Iris Goldfeder, and I'm super excited about my guest today, Coco Madari. They are wonderful, exciting, versatile. They're just amazing, and as we go on, you'll see how amazing they are as well. So I'm just going to read their bio and bring them on. Coco Madari, she, is a vision-led, neurospicy, and multi-passionate coach, visual artist, music producer, singer-songwriter, and comedian living in beautiful Vancouver Island, BC. And there's a difference. I found out that it's not just Vancouver, it's an island. Because, of course, this is take 5,000. But anyway, they've worked closely with dozens of heart-centered, multi-talented, creative entrepreneurs to break free from the cycle of being overworked, underappreciated, and or underpaid. As a result, their clients design a fuck yes creative business where they have more freedom, can make the money they want repeatedly and consistently, be more lit up by their work, enjoy their day-to-day more, and have all the time they need for rest and play. So without further ado, and take 50, let's be Coco. Hey there.
Hey.
I know, shocking, I've had technical issues, and this is like this is only take 3, but still.
And it's not like we went halfway into the podcast and needed to stop.
No, that's true. But no. So this is going to be NSFW. Michelle, I'm giving you warning. My friend Michelle listens, and she really didn't curse before this. Now she's like, fuck yeah. So sometimes she'll listen to it at work, and I say, and for all of you others, not just singling out Michelle, but anybody who's listening, this is not safe for work today, or without headsets. So before all of the technical stuff happened, I'm a little geologically challenged sometimes, and I did not know that Vancouver Island was different than Vancouver. So that was really kind of cool. And totally. I thought you were in LA, so I'm really screwed up. I totally thought you were.
I actually thought about moving to LA from Vancouver. I grew up around Vancouver. And I was thinking about hiring a lawyer to get the visa and all of that stuff, and was going to pay $10,000 to get all that stuff done.
Stay where you are right now.
Yeah. And then I decided to move to Vancouver Island instead.
Yeah, because we're going, are we going to be moving to Canada? We'll see. So this originally was supposed to be recorded last week. The day after the election, and that just wasn't going to happen. I think we were both kind of in the same mindset, because as I was sending Coco a message to say, hey, should we do this next week? They sent me a message saying, hey, can we move this to next week? So it was like, yes, absolutely. Because it was just it was a heavy day. So, and here we are a week later.
Needed time to process.
Yes. All the things, process and plan the escape. No.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy. Anyway, so, okay. So, we were talking about your versatility, and, you and Kofi were talking about how you're a singer and songwriter. So am I. You're a producer. I am not. And you do more of the house music, EDM, and I'm more rock and roll. So we can't be like Donnie and Marie, but I
mean, I love rock and roll. I definitely can see myself singing for a band. Yeah. I probably in 10 years, I'm going to be better at guitar and be able to do those things. It's not a priority right now, but right now the priority is just oh yeah. So I have a guitar. I have an electric guitar. And there's a couple songs.
Yeah, my wife was like, "You're not playing it in the band anymore. Sell it." And I was like, "But we're not supposed to sell guitars. That's not how it works." She's like, "Sell it." I was like, "Oh my God!" Like everybody that I know has like 20 guitars because they never sell them. I have one.
Yeah, I know people with lots of guitars.
I've had. Her name is Gilda. She's a Guild. One of the last American made. I've had her since 1994 or 90 something.
That's when I was born.
Oh. Well, there you go. Happy birthday to you and Gilda. And she and I have been through everything together. And so she doesn't go anywhere. She stays. But I haven't picked the guitar up in probably a year. So
also my cats might join.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Hello, Kitty. My dogs can't because they're crazy. Well, one especially. You can't hear her right now, but she's barking at I don't even know what out there. Let's talk about your journey to entrepreneurship. You do so many different things. So how did it, like, first off, how long have you been an entrepreneur? Okay, let's use my words today. How long have you been an entrepreneur? And, what was the journey to get there?
I think I've been an entrepreneur since, I started freelancing as like a website designer like in 2017. But then started my coaching business in 2019. Oh. Yeah. And so kind of
how did you go from website design to coaching?
Well, website design was kind of something that I did for work, as a marketing professional out of university, even like doing co-op jobs, like, you know what co-op jobs are, right? Like when you're like doing it kind of as a part of like intern co-op program. So yeah, I had skills in like web design, but, what got me into coaching was actually like me escaping from an abusive relationship. And this particular person didn't want me going to therapy. He didn't want me healing. He didn't want me confident. He wanted me scared and easy to manipulate. So, so I managed to escape that by the skin of my teeth and immediately went into therapy. And I kind of, sorry, I have like so much cat hair. My cat just coming over. I ended up just like diving into self-development work, books, TED Talks, all the things. And I just started to notice how I was happier. Oh my God, I can't believe that. And I started to be like, recognize things that I was already interested in that I wasn't really allowing myself. Oh, Jesus, sorry. It's because I'm not giving him attention.
Go ahead, give him attention.
Yeah.
My wife is going to come home and the dogs are going to go insane. So because so off time, but go ahead.
Like hula hooping, circus stuff, flow stuff, art. These are things that I wasn't really allowing myself to be interested in because I didn't want to be like those weird people that, my family would ridicule or my partner, quote unquote, would ridicule. And, but that's who I was. And I was like, oh my God, okay. So I am like those weirdos that I've been avoiding. And,
but they're not weirdos. They're people, right?
Yeah. Oh, totally. I just mean like,
no, I know. Like
creatives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all us. We're all crazy. Well,
yeah. I say weirdos in the most endearing way.
Yeah. We need to join are you in our group? The Weirdos group?
I think we talked about it, but I don't think it actually like came to fruition, but
I'm going to invite you. Happen, when this is over, I'm going to invite you.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Look ahead. Send me your WhatsApp info.
Yeah. Okay. And then I just really started to thrive in life. And then I found a podcast that was about coaching, and I started to learn more about those different modalities and stuff. And it started to blow my mind. And I was like, I remember this moment when I was at a festival, going around by myself, feeling confident going around by myself, where a year previously, or even 6 months previously, I wouldn't be able to do that. And I was, going up to the stage and going right to the front of the stage. And then I turned around and looked at all the people in the audience and just kind of felt like I was dancing with them, and I was connecting with people, and I wasn't looking away. And I realized a couple years ago, I needed to get blackout drunk in order to be able to dance. And then here I am, by myself, feeling confident to be able to dance with people and to show myself. And I was like, I want to teach people how to do this, or I want to show people that this is possible. And so that's kind of what started my coaching business. And also just kind of realizing that through line of my life, I've always wanted to make myself better. I always wanted to improve myself. And if I can make a career out of improving myself and making myself better, then why not? So that's how it all started. And then as I started to work with clients, just noticing how a lot of the people were also creatives and also wanted to start businesses. And it wasn't always the case. But, wanting to start businesses, or wanting to improve their business, or wanting to make change at their workplace, being social workers and being I want to rise up against this chronic burnout in the social work industry, or I want to make this big change in the world. So I just started to work with some really awesome heart-centered people, and using my business degree and marketing and sales experience to help them make their goals happen. And it's just the best thing in the world.
I love that. And it's when we do what we love, right? It's not work. I mean, there are some days, it is. But I think that when we get to that point that we get to do what we love, for me, it's watching the business grow. I get and watching the business owner grow, right? Because in the process of their business growing, there's this growth that happens to them that they're not even aware of until they're aware of it, right? It's one of those things. And that's what does it for me. That just makes me go, oh, yes, they're there. So I get that. And it's the fact that, you were able to get out of that relationship. A lot of people that I speak with, were in bad situations like that. And of course, it's because we're women, because you very rarely hear, guys be like, I got out of an abusive relationship. Not that it doesn't happen.
It does happen.
Yeah, it does happen 100%. But not as much. And I love when there's that success story at the end of it. It's I got out of it. I kind of brushed myself off, picked myself up, and found the thing that I love to do. And now I get to do what I love to do, and I get to help people while I'm doing it. So I think that that's fucking amazing. So, good on you for that. So, this is about, entrepreneurship, and a lot of people that listen are entrepreneurs, or they're thinking about becoming entrepreneurs, or they're seasoned entrepreneurs, or, C-suite director level. But you became an entrepreneur kind of out of necessity, do you think? Or did you just choose to
No, I mean, I had a job. I was working as a consultant, like a employment branding consultant.
Okay.
So it was really coming from a place of like, no, this is really what I want to do. And luckily I had a job. However, COVID happened and then I got laid off. But then so then I got another job and then had that for a while. But then I started, hitting like 10K months consistently. And then it was like, okay, I can sustain myself. But from start to having consistent 10K months was like 9 months. And this is my first business. And
that's pretty amazing.
I had a lot of barriers as well. Like I went from that first abusive relationship to a relationship with a narcissist. And that was a whole other can of worms.
Yeah.
Like a whole other challenge. Right. And he was super like not supportive of my coaching business at all. And like would make fun of the things that I would post and be embarrassed that I was, making him look bad or whatever. And, so yeah, there were a lot of challenges throughout. But I think, what kept me going is just the insatiable need for like internal growth, not the like, necessarily the external money, but like the, using whatever is coming to me as a lesson. And luckily now I have a really awesome partner and that's figured that part out. So that's good. But yeah, and even like, cause I built my business to like multiple six figures and then I totally burnt out and, I was like emotionally, psychologically, and financially abused by a certain coach. And that led to an extreme burnout. And, I ended up getting a job and had a really deep, conversation with myself, a long conversation with myself over lots of months of like, is this really what I want to do? Is this really what I want to continue putting effort into? And
wow.
The answer is yes, because the way I thought about it is like, there are people out there right now making a difference in the world and showing up and being a part of the movement. And I want to be one of those people.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be, sitting on the sidelines. I want to be in it. I want to be there when it happens and be a part of why it's happening. So yeah, that's kind of, I think that it's super important, especially for like coaching work, to be really, really, clear about, like why you're doing it and, what makes you come back. Cause honestly, it feels like for me to not coach is the same as me not making art. Ooh. Like I feel a similar amount of like, this is also my expression. This is how I want to give. And this is how I want to serve.
It's interesting because there are so many coaches out there now, and you really need to be able to weed through the good and the bad because there are coaches out there that aren't, good. I remember I had a coach tell me, I don't know, it was like 8 or 9 years ago, be less me. And, and I talk about this often. I did. I listened because, I'm in Indiana. I'm from New York and I'm a gay woman and, whatever. And, he's like, you're in a room of all of these introverts and you're such an extrovert. You need to pull back a little. And I did. And I got the clients, but they weren't the right clients because as soon as the real me, the first F-bomb came out or, whatever, they were like, who the hell? And then I realized, no. So I, fired him. And I had to really look at who am I and how do I want to show up?
Yeah.
And I figured that out. And then the right clients came along, because when you're not being authentic, and I'm probably going to be talking on this next year, but when you're not authentic, you're attracting the people that are attracted to the facade, not you. Mm-hmm. So they don't know what they're getting, right?
That's exactly it. And that's been a huge thing with my partner, is wanting to really, really show the real me, and wanting to be seen as I am, both in my autism, my disabilities, and also in my like big power and my stardom and my talent, like all of it being seen. And that's been just such a game changer, like being loved for who you are. Like, oh my God, that's like such a different ball game entirely.
Wow. And when you have that supportive partner, I mean, my wife is my biggest fan. And I could do a better. It's funny because she supports me in everything that I do. And I thought I was supporting her in everything that she did until, she pointed out one thing, and she's like, "You're not being very supportive of this." And I was like, "You're right." And I didn't realize it until she pointed. And as soon as she pointed it out, I was like, do whatever, do whatever and however. And, but you don't get there without communication. Mm-hmm. Right. So you have to, we've been together 22 years. Halloween was 22 years. And you don't get there from not listening. Like, you have to have that open communication, and you have to be able to receive it. Right. So, if someone, if you think you're doing a good job and it's like, yeah, you're kind of sucking at it, you have to be able to take that and go, wow, I really am sucking at it, and do something about it. So, and a lot of people don't. So,
I just was responding to a post about what it means to have an anti-capitalist business. And I responded something along the lines of how toxic capitalism is rooted in a lack of accountability, especially for white men and white people. And so, kind of like coming back to the listening, like if we want to have an anti-oppressive business, being able to be held to a reasonable amount of accountability is absolute key. If you're going to consider yourself as like an anti-oppressive business owner.
Yeah.
So it's like that communication, but with clients and with your community, and Yeah.
And I think that, it's really important. And we're going to have to pause here because they are barking. So I just totally lost my train of thought. Kofi, we're going to have to edit this for a second because what? She's out there. Something. Sorry. Okay.
Oh yeah, you're good.
Say what you just said again, because I have heard it. So.
Right. So, yes.
Kofi, let's
talking
do 3,
about
2, 1, and I'm lagging again, but that's okay.
Oh yeah, you're definitely lagging now.
It'll stop in a second. You just talk, and I'll.
Okay.
This gets better.
Oh yes, like how I was talking about how one of the biggest proponents of toxic capitalism is a lack of accountability, especially with like white men and white people. And if we're going to say that we have an anti-oppressive business or want to have an anti-oppressive business, being able to be held to a reasonable amount of accountability is like just the ABCs. Like without it, you're just talking out your ass.
Well, and you're 100% right. So, one of the things, and you know, Kofi and I, you know, the day that George Floyd got killed, was murdered. Kofi and I were on the phone for a really long time. You know, I cried, he cried. And I realized my privilege. And it took me a really long time, but, you know, because at the end of the day, I'm a woman, I'm white, I was raised Jewish, and I'm gay. It's like, you can't fucking get, the only thing I'm not is black. I mean, that's the, you know, other than that, I'd have like the, you know, quintuplet or whatever, you know, you would call it. So I get it. And one of the things that he said hit me like like I was just like, whoa. And he said, you know, how did he put it? He said, you have it worse than me. You're gay. And I was like, Kof, I wake up every day white. You don't. Like, they can't look at me unless I have my rainbow shit on or you know, right?
Yeah.
And they're not going to know that I'm gay. They'll know I'm a woman. They'll know I'm from New York, living in Indiana. That's a whole nother story. But they're not going to know that I'm gay. They're not going to, you know any of that. You know, you wake up and you wake up black. And I realized, like, from that moment on, that I have this privilege, even though I'm also a minority in a different way, but I have a certain privilege and I use that privilege. If I see something untoward happening to someone, I step in. I just do. You know, Heather's like, you're going to get shot one day. And I'm like, well, if I do, then I'm doing the right thing. You know, then I'm getting shot doing the right thing. So I wouldn't, you know. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but, you know.
Well, we're all enemies of the state, so.
Yeah, I mean, at this point. Yeah, but you're in Canada. That doesn't count. So, you know. But, you know, seriously. So, okay. So, getting back to entrepreneurship, what advice would you have for somebody who's thinking about becoming an entrepreneur?
What advice do I have? What advice do I would say that it really is, you know, all about who you know, and not necessarily from like let's use people who have this network to get what we want, but like not only who you know, but the quality of your relationships. And I think that is what creates that sustainable success, is having people, a community in your corner who knows you, like who really knows you and sees you and loves you and wants to support you. So that's a big thing. And also like, like if we want to have an anti-oppressive business or an anti-capitalist business that is more focused on creating mutually beneficial agreements and lifting each other up and all that stuff, like we really have to do that internal work of dismantling the internalized systems of oppression that we all have been exposed to.
Right.
So, yeah.
Interesting. We've done almost 100 episodes and no one's ever spoken about that. So I love that.
Oh yeah.
And
nice.
That's like one of my favorite questions because we get so many different responses for that. But it's true. I mean, if you are going to be anti-capitalist, if you're going to be, you know, like a B company, right? Then you need to walk the walk. You can't just talk the talk like so many people do. So,
and people are getting smarter and like better at distinguishing who is just saying the right things and who is actually living the work. Yeah. And time will tell with that kind of stuff. And at the end of the day, your character and your integrity is all you have. Yeah, 100%. And I'm very relationship based. For me, it's, you know, all about
relationships with my clients, and, like, my peers laugh, my friends laugh. And it's like, if I don't give a shit about you, I can't help you. Like, I can't help your business. So if I don't care, and it sounds terrible, and it's not that I don't want people to succeed. I do. But if our values don't align, then I can't help you, because then I'm not as invested, we'll say. How's that? I'm not as invested in you and your growth. So I won't be doing my best, right? And there's no way I'm not going to do my best. So I just don't work with
Totally. Yeah. I recently sent an email to my people saying, like, I never work with a client that I don't love, respect, and admire.
Yeah.
And by love, I mean, like, I see the beauty in you.
Yeah.
And I believe in you.
Yeah.
Like, if that's not there, then you can't really show up the way you need to. Yeah.
Well, and that's what I mean. Like, you have to care. Like, every single one of my clients, I deeply care about. It's like family. My welcome email, I'm actually working on some more onboarding, but my welcome email is literally welcome to the family. Because that's what this is. Once, somebody starts working with us, we're all one big family, and we really care about, what's happening. And so we monitor things and make sure that things, are working right. And if they're not, we get together and we tweak them and we do the things, but the communication lines are always open. I actually dropped the ball with that for the first time with, like, the last person in the world that I would want to, like, drop the ball with. Not that I want to drop it with anybody, but this was just somebody who I really love and respect. And, like, I would rather, I don't know who else I just don't want to disappoint anyone, but her, it was just like, oh my God. And we had a great conversation. We fixed everything, but it was still horrible to me. It was like, oh my God, I dropped the ball. I don't like dropping the ball. However, you have to own it, right? Like, you can't be like, oh, well, this happened, and so that's why that didn't happen. Bullshit. At the end of the day, I'm the CEO, I'm the owner. It's on me, regardless. Whether one of my contractors mess up, it doesn't matter. It falls on me at the end of the day. So, and I think that's another thing, like you were talking about, accountability, right? Like, you have to have that accountability for whatever. And I'm a huge proponent of that, because first off, I can't fix it if I don't know that it's broken. Right. So if you tell me that it's broken, I'm going to fix it. And then I grow from that, because it's like, okay, that happened. It's never going to happen again. Right. And I think that's it. It's like, if, Einstein, if making the same mistake, and expecting different results is what the definition of insanity, right? So, I make a mistake once. And that's it. I learn from it. So,
I'm a similar way, with clients. In that same email, I talked about how one of the things that I'm most proud of as a coach is that my clients feel safe to tell me no, or tell me, oh, I don't think that's it, or tell me if I'm off base, or call me out if it ever, like, if they ever need to. And just being a safe space for that is such a big deal, because so many people are not, and that causes so much unnecessary pain for a lot of people.
I think that people see that also, right? So they, when they're working with you, they know if you're owning it or not. They know if you're, pushing it off on, whatever. I had somebody that I hired to do something, and they missed a big deadline. And rather than just being like, okay, I missed the deadline, they made every excuse under the sun. And it was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
This was a deliverable. And you're not saying, wow, I really screwed the pooch on that one. You know, whatever.
Yeah.
You're literally
such a funny saying.
I know that is a funny saying.
You did what?
Oh my God! Let me say that again. Okay, so and actually, there was just
it's such a common saying, but I
know. But now that you think about it, well, and there was just this woman who was arrested for that, so I really probably shouldn't say that anymore. Yeah, she got arrested because
oh dear,
her and her husband did some messed up stuff, and then she was having sex with a Great Dane. So, I'm never going to say that again. Okay, so rather than saying that you messed up, his excuse was he got hit in the head by a softball at his son's game. His son is like 6. And he was in the hospital for 4 days and his phone didn't work. And I was like, there's no fucking way that a 6-year-old is going to hit a softball hard enough. And he said he was between diamonds. I couldn't hit a ball that hard to knock you out. So, so I was just like, we're done. And I pulled him off of the project and had somebody else finish it because it's like, you lied. A, you missed the deadline, but B, you lied. And that's just not okay to me. It's like, don't lie. Yeah. So, but anyway, okay, we're digressing like big time here. Shocking. So,
well, I actually was thinking about, just another, thinking about accountability, when I was full-time in my coaching business. One thing that also made me want to take a step back was knowing that I wanted to focus more on music and art and feeling like I couldn't do that because I was like in my coaching business, marketing, selling, doing all the things that you need to do. Yes, you can, but not at the level that I was doing it. I needed to make adjustments and I didn't have the money to be able to move things around. I was in a lot of debt because I was being financially abused. And so I was kind of in a situation where it's like, I have to keep selling in order to keep the lights on. And that didn't feel right. So that's why I ended up getting a job so that I could kind of just dissolve all that. And then be able to be like, okay, I can rebuild in this way where I'm I have focus on my coaching business, but I also have priority in my art and my music and all of that stuff. So, that was a big element that made me brought me to where I am now, is being I can't continue selling this idea that you can do whatever you want and you can build your business however you want when I'm not doing that myself.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Good point. Yeah. See, for me, I'm in a band, and it's a very important part of who I am and what I do. Right. So, I was in a band right before COVID hit and I quit because our values did not align, putting it mildly. And I quit and then I was done. And then I did a couple of things here and there. I recorded with somebody, but he ended up being unaligned. And it was just okay, maybe I'm not supposed to be doing this. And then a friend of mine called and said, hey, we're, doing this thing. And, I was like, okay. So I did that for a little while. And then I wasn't doing anything. And then I met with Kim Woods, who's my business astrologist, right? She's amazing. She does astrology and business, and she's so scary accurate that it just blows my mind. But we were in a session and she goes, you need your creativity. You have to, get creative again. And I was like, I can't, because all the people around here that sing, that play the music that I want to play, we are not aligned without, saying so. And anyway, so I had my friend reach out to me. Oh, I'll say it. I don't give a fuck. I was like, I can't do it because I have to be in a band with no trumpers, period. 2 days later, I get a Facebook message from my friend Lauren, and he, sends me this message and he goes, hey, we're looking to add another singer, blah, 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 blah. And the very last line of the message said, by the way, no trumpers. And I was just like, you cannot make this shit up. I was like, you just, you can't. And I've been with them a couple of months now. We're having so much fun. We had our first show last Friday and it was a blast. We had a blast. Everybody else had a blast. It was just like so much fun. We have another show this Friday. Awesome. And it's, and, for me, it's like, yes, I get to do all the things that I love. Right. Mm-hmm. So, I have my business and now I have the band and it's so important as entrepreneurs that we have that outlet, that we have that place to go, blow off steam. And that we have that space to be creative.
Yeah.
Because I think we all have that. I write music. I haven't written a song probably in about 10 years. But, I write, I sing, I do all the stuff. I play guitar when I play. I have a piano that I can play enough to be dangerous, but enough to write with, right? Or I can fake some Adele. But, so I think it's real important that with all of the pressure and stress that we can be under, that we have that outlet that, we can go and you can go write a song and you can, do whatever and, play your music and I can get out there and I can sing and, I'm listening to
it's really like about that day-to-day satisfaction. Like if I can create one or do one creative thing a day, then that just creates that like satisfaction.
Oh, I love that.
Like I did a thing today. I sang some songs on my ukulele today. I did some art today. Like that's just like, it's about quality of life.
100%. Yes. Oh, I love that so much. God, I love this. Okay. And you're saying ukulele. We were in Waikiki, and I was going to get a ukulele. And of course, my wife was like, do you really need that? And I was like, well, yeah, it's like a little teeny guitar. Of course, I'm going to learn it. Well, are you going to play it? Well, yeah. I ended up not getting it. Now I want one, of course. So I'm probably going to get one. But it's true. Like when you sit there and I have this, like when I need to learn a song now, I love technology now. When I need to learn a song, I listen to it ad nauseum. And then I have this like amazing karaoke app called like Carafun or whatever it is, Carafun. And I find the song and I just sing it and I put my spin on it and I do whatever. And then I go into rehearsal and it's like, all right, let's do this. And it's like so much fun. So I get to do that, a couple of times a day or whatever, and the dogs sometimes enjoy it and sometimes they don't, it depends. It's so funny. It depends on like what key it's in. If it's in an A or an E, they love it. Yeah. If it's like a D or a G, they just kind of, they just get like, it's kind of interesting.
That's hilarious.
It is funny. So, okay. So you have a workbook. Mm-hmm. So let's see, I can't do the neck thing. How do you, I'll never, I look like a penguin trying to go, like what the hell is that? So,
I have a workbook. It's called Stop Working So Much and Design a Fuck Yes Creative Business. And it's an assessment on 4 different areas of your business. So well, yourself as a business owner and your business. So it's like self-knowledge, support, standards, and trust. And those are like the 4 keys that are essential in like creating that fuck yes creative business where you're like making the money that you want, but also having so much fun and also like, have the time that you want for all the other things. So it's a really great assessment to like see where you're at with all those things and your areas where you can improve. And then, I have a way for you to like make tweaks and then assess how those tweaks are going and all the things. So it's really, really an amazing resource that you should definitely check out.
I love that. And that'll be in the show notes. Sure. So we'll put so is it can they download it off your website?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, it's on my link tree. And then I think you'll also get the direct link to just put your email in and then it gets sent to you. Awesome.
That's so cool. And I think, having those things in place it's like so important. I have, what I call team-based values. So when I bring somebody in, they have to follow this set of values. And if they don't, like, telling me you got hit in the head with, whatever, then they're not on the team, because I think it's so, that's what I mean. A lot of people are like, well, when you say, your values align, is it, a political thing? It's like, no, it's like your values, like your set of values. Like, for me, I need people to be systems thinking, not to just worry about what they're doing, but how what they do affects the entire, organization. It's like, you're doing this, but if you don't do this, then it's going to affect this, 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 and this. So that's one of the really big things. But I think a lot of people, or I should say, I don't think a lot of people think of that until they're further on in their business. I mean, at the end of the day, an overnight success, I always say, takes 10 years, right? It doesn't happen overnight. And it takes a lot of errors, we'll say, and a lot of, things maybe not working, right the first time. So you just keep tweaking them. And I think we're always a work in progress, no matter what we're doing, right? Everything that we do is a work in progress. And, I was talking about, building the business, for me, it was like, building the plane while I was flying it.
Right.
Going, totally. Okay, everything's, we're sailing smooth now. Everything's, here comes some turbulence. Crap. What does that mean? So it's like, shit. And then, like the tail falls off or something. You're like, shit, I got to get the tail back on. Now you have to build something again. And, for me, because I'm crazy, I love that piece of it. I love when something falls off, how to fix it, because I like fixing things. And what I've learned, with the business is that you need to be able to pivot. So, you need to be able to, if everything is going good and that turbulence hits, well, you have to look at why is the turbulence hitting, and then how can you pivot so that you're sailing smooth again.
I think this election will help a lot of people exercise their pivoting skills. So a lot of things are going to be thrown at everyone. And I know I'm in Canada, but we are definitely affected by
everybody is. The whole
definitely. The whole world. But also just like our politics too. Like we have a similar group that is more right-wing extremists, all that. And those people are being more empowered than ever now. So, exercising our skills and being able to not react, but respond.
Which is what
what's coming in. Yeah.
And it's so funny because I had my client that I told you, I disappointed. I didn't respond. I reacted. And I was like, no, I have to do this. I have to fix this. I can't disappoint her. How do I fix this?
Right.
And then by trying to fix it, I fucked it up even more. So it was like it was just like, and she was like, you didn't hear what I said. I wanted this. And I was like, oh, so I don't need, okay. And then I was able to kind of absorb it. And I really wonder if that was like the universe going, okay, you're going to react to this because when this happens, you can't react. You have to respond. So I really,
we're learning that lesson all the time.
Oh, like, big time. And I, talking about the election, it's like, I'm going to make small businesses strong and all. Well, we'll see, because I don't believe that. So I'm looking to hit, my goal is by next year, 7 figures. So I don't have to, fuck around and find out. Right. I just want to, I'm not going to
create our own success.
100%. And we have to do it in a way that, like you said, right. We stick with our values. We don't give in to the capitalist bullshit, and we don't give in to the stuff that doesn't align with us, I think, is the biggest thing.
Totally.
Yeah, I had a Zoom call with somebody who followed me on LinkedIn, and he, I've been watching you for a year and blah, 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 blah. And, I'd really like to have a call because I'd like to hire you. And I said, sure. Well, if you've been watching me for a year and really watching and listening, you kind of know the way I lean, right? Mm-hmm. And the call opens up and he's got all of this MAGA shit in the background. And I was just like, best poker face. And anybody that knows you will tell you that my poker face sucks. I had the best poker face. I just, was like, hey, very nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. And we talked for 15 minutes and I said, I'm going to, confer with my team and see if we're a fit. And if we are, I'll let you know and we can kind of go from there. And I waited 48 hours and I sent an email and I said, my team and I were talking and we just don't think it's a good fit. I can refer you to somebody who, has the same values as you, but, we're not a good fit. And he literally sent me an email back saying it was because of the red hat stuff, right? And I said, yeah, actually, because I'm not going to, if you ask me, I'm not going to lie. And I think the sad part of it for me is that even is an issue. It's like we can't just be united no matter what our politics are because it's so damn extreme and so divisive now.
It's very extreme and divisive, yes.
And that just makes me really sad because, I know a lot of good people and it's hard right now. So, but anyway, we're digressing. So, all right. So, what is your differentiator? There's like there's a lot of coaches out there. There's like a ton of coaches out there. So what is your differentiator? Like, why would somebody work with you as opposed to another coach?
I think one big reason is that I have multiple businesses and I'm a multi-talented creator. And I also have a way of combining those different talents and passions to make something that is completely unique. And I think the people who are interested in working with me see that and feel like they get, they're given permission to just be themselves, be their multi-talented self, be their neurodivergent self, be like all of the things. Everything is welcome. Also that I have a very strong anti-oppressive lens and am always focused on how can we build this business in the most in the way that benefits you, your people, your community, and the world the best. Right. And I actually stand by that and will do whatever is in my power to make that happen. So I think those are the main two differentiators. Also, I'm like fun. I'm so much fun.
That's what I say. That's my line. I'm like, they love me. I'm fun. That's so funny. Yeah. And it's important to, all of that's important. Because
I also have like a really diverse toolbox. Like I know the mindset stuff, the emotions stuff, know when there's a problem that has the root cause of like a belief system or emotions not being processed or more strategy or whatever. I just have all of these different lenses that I can put on, and I'm like really good at finding what the problem is.
Oh, I love that. Well, there you go. Okay. So where can people find you?
So yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn. You can add me. On my LinkedIn, there'll be my link tree. So that's where you can download the workbook, where you can book a consult with me. You can also go on my SoundCloud and see my DJ sets and some music that I've put out. Yeah, so I'm also on like Facebook and Instagram. So if that's more your deal, then you can come find me there as well.
And is there a link tree there as well? I know, no, not on Instagram, but on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
Right on. Very, very cool. Where I can't believe we made it to like the hour. I was like, what else is going to happen? Are we going to lag again? Which I did, but you know, it is what it is. So, thank you so much for taking a lot of time out of your day to hang out with me and my audience, and Kofi for a little while. Isn't he? He's so awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, he used to live here and he moved away to Las Vegas. So it's so weird. When he was here, we would see each other maybe once every 6 months, and now it's like he's not there anymore. So it feels so weird. But he's so awesome. So thank you. And then the last question that I ask all my guests, drum roll, please. What lights your fire?
Ooh, justice.
Oh,
justice lights my fire for sure. Actually, like I think it has something to do with my Mars being in Taurus. Like being driven by justice and having that just like the bull that just keeps going.
That's your North Star, basically.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. And I think it's important.
It's true.
I think 100% it's important. So, all right, hang out 1 second. I'm going to say goodbye to everyone just in time, because guess who got home? Okay. Everybody, thank you so much for hanging out again for an hour plus out of your day. I appreciate you all so much. Please download, like, share, review this episode, review the podcast. Ignore my dogs in the background. And I appreciate all of you so much. And until next time, go out and find what lights your fire. See ya.